the ears who this argument certainly resonates when they hear kind of the approach of relinking education to employment as employers. There's an interesting, actually, Bloomberg Next poll that shows about 40% of students feel they're prepared for work when they leave the entire education system, and 40% of employers feel that students are prepared for work. Interestingly, 72% of college providers feel their students are prepared for work. So there's a little bit of asynchronicity in terms of where perceptions are of the value of an educational experience and an employment experience. And it's not unreasonable, because there probably are some colleges that do really prepare kids for work and for life, and there are others that really don't. And so I think what has to happen now, and what we're seeing some positive reception around, is employers have to take the lead on saying, here are the skills that are becoming more important in an age where human intelligence is involving higher order thinking skills, and machine intelligence is doing the lower order ones. We've got to see collaborative problem solving. We've got to see people who can imagine and create. We have to see that people can synthesize quickly with new information, with data, that they can build a cogent argument. And, there's some of that in standardized testing today, but it's kind of this myopic view. It's a little bit of argument supported by some evidence. And the challenge is, how often for all of us are we dealing with a static system where everything's written down for us and there are no changing new rules or information? Never. So you need technology that can really bring forward the employer's desires into the education market as a reality in a tried and tested tool as an educational standard. And that's what makes our job so hard. It's not a quick process to go out and find those definitions of skills that matter.
Not one standardized.
No, and then you've got to bring it in. But I would say that argument of bringing the employers into the conversation about how their work is changing, what the future is going to require, and bringing that back, many parents care, and they're choosing that with their dollars. My goal is definitely to set a higher floor for high schools. So know that some schools are going to do a crappy job teaching differently, and it's no fault of theirs. There's all sorts of systemic problems that make it hard to teach. But perhaps if you can relieve a little bit of that pressure around content, a little bit around teaching so many different modules of AP biology or science curriculum or history curriculum, not get rid of it, just reduce a little bit and focus on a few concepts. Maybe some schools choose to bring that to life with solar-powered go-kart races. Maybe other schools in Pasadena choose to have kids intern at JPL for a couple weeks. Whatever the scenario is that's best for those kids, I want a test that we deliver to be generalizable enough that their progress shows up and that we recognize what they have. And it doesn't mean that all kids who do well on the SAT are going to do poorly on our test. I would expect many who do well on the SAT are going to do well on our test, and vice versa. But maybe some kids who are total diamonds in the rough, who are out there slogging through a lot of content that doesn't land for them, maybe there's a way to recognize some of the skills they have going on behind the scenes, whether they got that in a job after school or watching a sibling or over a summer. I hope that our tests are able to at least set a new North Star for the system.